Welcome to something that remains highly questionable. What do you like on the show today, Bomani?
I mean, we got an interview with Meta World Peace, man.
Oh, that's going to be good. Vamos, Papi.
Let's turn up the heat.
Yes, turn it up.
Are we really going to blame the Warriors' loss on a missed traveling call?
I'm not going to do that, but you have to be a little bit disappointed that so many times at the ends of these games there are obvious blown calls, and this is a blown call. Now, to blame this as the reason they lost presumes some things would happen afterward, including Golden State making a three that it didn't seem like they made the entire fourth quarter. They just lost a game, Bomani, at home. Westbrook starting 1 for 10, Durant missing 7 shots in the fourth quarter. It's hard to understand how they lost to a Thunder team that didn't even play very well.
Man, but do you know how crippled the Thunder would have had to have been if they would have called that travel and the Warriors would have made that three after the way their regular season games ended with Steph hitting that one shot from the moon? Like, somehow, though, the Thunder, they seem to be coming up okay on some of these 2-minute reports. We had the game in San Antonio. We had this one. But no, you cannot blame that for the Warriors losing for the reason Dan said. We don't know that they were going to make a shot there. We can say this. Suddenly, we are now facing Game 2, the most important game in this whole Golden State run that we've seen from the last 2 years, because I don't know any of us are betting on even them coming back from down 0-2 going on the road.
Hey, Steve Kerr, if your back hurts, let me know, and I'll coach the team. You know, I'll put my foot in there. That's what I would do.
Okay. That doesn't seem like you play better with one of those there, but okay.
Should the Steve Adams apology be accepted?
Stephen Gold to the Adams. He's become a bit of a star in this postseason. He's the white dude with the long hair and the funny facial hair. We had a great feature on him for Brian Windhurst. He is from the South Pacific. We like all of those things. And then this happened last night.
For you as a big to get out on the perimeter and chase these guys around, how much of a challenge is that?
Mate, I don't envy guards, mate. They're quick little monkeys, those guys.
Ooh, boy, shout out to Chris Broussard in the awkward situation of trying to figure out what to do after somebody says quick little monkeys on television. Steven Adams apologized. He apologized fairly sincerely. I'm inclined to go with it. What seemed to happen there is he had something he was going to say. He decided not to say that and went with the first thing off the top of his head, which is something about monkeys.
Right.
Words of the wise, guys. Yeah. Never bring up monkeys.
Yeah, that was problematic because he did edit himself and then he was explaining the transition from a different culture, and he is buying himself some benefit of the doubt from not being from this country. He's from another country. He does buy himself something there. Apologizing also helps mitigate it slightly so that you're not quite as outraged as you might be otherwise.
I'll say this, though. This whole he's from a different country, they call us monkeys all over the world. Like, that's not it. All I'm saying in this case is if he apologizes and it seems like he means it, we're not going to get very far dwelling on this.
Hey, Golden State, if you're smart, right now, you go to the commissioner and say this guy has to be suspended for the rest of the series. You know, it's that's the way I play
it. That's not a terrible idea for one of the Warriors to make this a bigger mess by saying, I'm hugely offended and there need to be consequences. It's not a terrible idea.
And there's history to indicate that if Adams owned the team, Silver might try to take it from him.
Should more MLB managers take the Brad Osmos approach when getting ejected?
He is in a contract year, Bomani. The Tigers are underachieving. They've lost 11 of 13. Last night they were winning nothing, and they coughed up that lead. He had issues with the strike zone. This is a frustrated human being right here. I mean, that's a strike. That looks like a strike.
But he said that all the team was complaining, and after that many guys complain, they have to be right, because it's not like baseball players complain.
Yeah, well, he said not that many guys could all be wrong, so here we go.
You know what? This kicking thing is not nearly as efficient as disrobing.
Yes.
Now take that off the plate with your little brush.
Yes. What? Why? Okay, here's a little something for you as well. I mean, what is that?
That looks like a man who would quit his job, except you only get paid out if they fire you. Like the frustration of Osmos probably losing his job soon. You can't lose that. But if you're going to do that, you might as well take it all away. Make this a great my last day at work story. Take it all off. Take off the hoodie and put it on the plate. Then take the other little shirt off and spit it over your head like a helicopter.
All of it.
Petey?
Let's see this again real quick, because I don't think the desired effect here, he wanted the umpire to have to pick it up, I think. Here, You have to pick up my clothes. I'm leaving this here for you to pick up, and you pick up my hat too. But the umpire doesn't move one step in this direction. What comes out is that kid right there.
Yeah, see, I was a bad boy. I mean, I guess you got to do it,
Yeah.
but somebody's going to have to tell me to go out there.
Yeah.
But somebody's going to have to tell me to go out there. I'm not just volunteering to clean up after a grown man like that.
You know, if you really want to make a point, you take off your pants and you leave it on the plate right there. That's what's making a big point. Everybody will know that. They'll never forget that move.
You better not think about standing up right
Yeah,
now.
don't do that. Don't do
Should
that.
I?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
How should LeBron feel about Mav Carter revealing his Nike contract is worth more than $1 billion?
Yeah, Maverick Carter did an interview with GQ where he said the lifetime deal that LeBron has got with Nike worth over $1 billion. $1 billion, man. $1 billion. Like, how should LeBron feel about this? I don't know, because I can't figure out how I'm supposed to feel. $1 billion? In fact, this took me to a place not of LeBron. If he's getting a bill, what is Mike getting?
A couple of things here that I found interesting. First of all, Mav Carter initially said, I can't talk about that when asked what it was worth. And then the writer said $1 billion. And Mav Carter pointed to the sky, said it was more than that. So not exactly the classic case of interrogation where Mav Carter had to be cracked. He was very willing to disclose this. The other thing that I would say to you, Bomani, is if you're making that much money and you're LeBron James, you could build a super team around the salary cap by taking a little bit less and getting whoever it is that you want. I'm not suggesting that he do that. I just think it's interesting when you're making that much money through sneakers.
Yeah, but when you're making that, $1 billion,
Yeah.
can you imagine? Like, it was like, what could it be, $1 billion? And Mav's like,
That's what he did. This.
Coming up next on my son's TV show, we talk to Meta World Peace.
I was never like rebellious, but I was always interested in different things. You know, I learned how to cook crack at the age of 13. So that was something I'm not proud of, obviously, but it was just something that was introduced to me at an early age.
Joining us at the beach today is Meta World Peace.
you don't need an introduction when you got your own app. And his app is called Meta, where you can send him personal messages and talk directly to him. Find it at the App Store. Now let's talk to him.
Meta, what can you tell us about growing up? Did you have 17 people in the house in Queensbridge when you were growing up?
Yeah, man, it was tough. I had a fire in my apartment. I was coming home from somewhere with my dad. When we get back, it was smoke everywhere. And then we had, I think it was a 3-bedroom apartment. And then we had nowhere to live for a couple of days. And then they moved us into a 1-bedroom apartment. And then it was like 17 of us. It was fun, though. We were real close.
And what can you tell us? What do you remember about that time?
That time was rough. At that time, I was 13 years old. So at that time, my dad and mom was splitting up. We had the fire. I was getting in a lot of trouble at that age, you know, and experimenting with all type of things in the streets. And it was a rough time, you know, trying to find yourself as a 13-year-old.
What does Ron Artest at his most rebellious, getting into trouble, look like as an early teen?
You know, I was never like rebellious, but I was always interested in different things. You know, I learned how to cook crack at the age of 13. So that was something I'm not proud of, obviously, but it was just something that was introduced to me at an early age. Got away from that. My brother continued with it, did 10 years in jail, you know, and a lot of my friends, one of my friends was an A student. He was a better student than me. He always get A's, but he chose to stay in the street. So he chose to, you know, to sell dope, and then later he was murdered. But I was like, he should have got a scholarship to college for education. But it's different things that I was exposed to, you know, that I'm grateful that I had people in my corner, you know, that had a great support system that always gave me good advice, you know, and told me, you know, stay in the books, stay in the basketball, you know, and don't stay in the streets.
Did you think to yourself while learning to cook crack, this is wrong, this is normal, this is just
Right.
what some folks my age are doing? What were you thinking during that time?
At that time, it was normal. You know, you see dope fiends, they come up, you know, they buy the drugs. And at that time, you see the money transactions, and it's like, oh, wow, I can make $10 real quick. Oh, I can make $100 today, you know? And at that time, it's like, oh, wow, if I get that money, I can buy some sneakers. So it's kind of normal. But you also know the repercussions. Police is coming, people getting locked up. You know, a lot of my family members was beat by other dope dealers and different things like that, you know, with bats and different things like that. And it's like, okay, now as you grow up, if it wasn't for, you know, those experiences that I've seen, you know, maybe I would have made the wrong decisions, but I've seen a lot of the hardships that these people go through. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want no parts of that life.
What was the scariest situation you personally found yourself in?
The scariest situation was, you know, one day I was at my my cousin's house, you know, and Mobb Deep, you know, rap group, they used to live next door on the same floor. And so my cousin, you know, they was cutting up the crack and everything. Police started knocking on the door, you know, and then so I was about to flush the drugs in the toilet. And then, you know, my cousin was like, yo, don't flush the drugs, you know, because a lot of money. It was like a lot of money. I'm like, yo, we got to throw the drugs away. I throw it out the window. So that was scary because, you know, my cousin was actually trying to, you know, save the drugs. Hopefully the police leave. And I'm just trying not to get arrested. You know, I was about 13 years old at that time, you know, and but the police left. Gratefully they left. And it was a tough situation.
So you get to the league and you're not ready at all, right? You're not
No.
ready in terms, no shot, right? Like you were doing, you weren't mature.
Not ready. Absolutely, because, you know, I love basketball. I love to compete. But at the same time, a professional, I wasn't. You understand? I needed to learn how to be a professional. And I needed to learn about my life. You know, I didn't understand, like, who I was. So I'm multiple people at one time. I'm a good student. I'm a math major. I'm a hood dude. I'm all these different things. You know, and one person. Very confusing to me at that time. I actually had I had a breakdown in Chicago. You know, when I was on the way to a game, pulled over, started crying. It was just so many things in my head. You know, then later went on to the game, played the game.
Well, when you played that game after that breakdown, did anybody know about that but you?
They probably did. The Chicago Bulls was real helpful. You know, they was actually trying to get me psychiatrists. Now I see psychologists. The difference, obviously, is a psychiatrist, they can provide medicine. Psychologists, they more of talking to you type of situation. But in Chicago, they was trying to give me help, you know, because I was going through a lot at that time. So they was getting me diagnosed and everything. And then I later, I didn't really need a psychiatrist, but I did need a psychologist. And I just continued to see a psychologist throughout my career.
So what's happening in the locker room? You've said before that you were drinking Hennessy at halftime and that you actually went to the liquor store. Was it before the game or at halftime of the game? Like why isn't anyone saying anything to you like, hey, we shouldn't be doing that here?
Well, I had a very immature time, one moment, very immature, very irresponsible, unprofessional. You know, I decided to, you know, walk up and, you know, go to the liquor store. And I was just very stressed. And then after that, you know, I was traded from the Bulls. The Bulls tried everything, man. It was a great situation. They really tried to keep me there. But I was very, very unstable when I was in Chicago. And then when I got to Indiana, you know, I was trying to find myself, seeing psychologist Reggie Miller. He tried to help me so much. But at that time, I was learning how to listen, but I wasn't there yet. So I never really listened to Reggie a lot. My biggest regret is the Pacers situation out of anything in my life. You know, one of my biggest regrets is that Pacers situation. And then I would put my marriage up there with that because Jermaine O'Neal always reached out, a great teammate, great leader, and I never, ever, like, you know, reached back out to Jermaine, Al Harrington. Like, these guys would go out and get lunch, and I would always stay in my room, you know? I was not social. Now I would come to practice, give 100% in the games, give 100%, but, you know, I was never building that team chemistry. And we won 61 games one year, you know? But one of my biggest regrets is not building, like, that friendship.
Well, what was happening there, though? Was it bipolar? Like, I'm not even sure how much in control you were of any of this stuff. Like, there were mental issues going on here. Yes.
In Indiana, it was jealousy. It was jealousy of Jermaine O'Neal's contract, you know, because I felt like I was a top tier player, but I felt like the Pacers wasn't, you know, they didn't treat me like that. Defensive Player of the Year, averaging a lot of points, you know, leading the team and everything alongside other players. But it was all about me. You see what I'm saying? It was too much ego. Everything's about me. That was the problem, you know? And then when I don't get what I want, I feel like I was entitled. Then I lash out in a lot of different ways, you know? And then on top of that, you know, not being a good partner, you know, guilty, just so many different things going through my head, bringing that to practice, bringing the stuff from practice at home, you understand? So when you get a balance on that stuff, and when you get a hold on that stuff, then your life is good, you know? But at that time, I didn't have no control.
Did you really apply for a job at Circuit City while you played for the Bulls?
Yeah, absolutely. I did. I'm 19 years old. I was bored. You know, I was partying a little bit too much. You know, you get to the league, you get a little bit of money, you want to go out, you're not treating your body right. And I was trying to find ways to, you know, stay grounded and trying to find ways to not do anything I shouldn't be doing. So one of the things I did was apply for a job at Circuit City. I got the job, 50% off discounts and things. It was fun.
That's what he
Well,
wanted.
that was the thing. Did you show up to the job? Like, I always hear about you applying. I never hear about you working at
He
Circuit
wanted
City.
the discount.
I showed up, like, one day I showed up. I worked. I helped out some customers. It was fun.
And you put, was it Jerry Reinsdorf or Jerry Krause down as a reference?
Oh, we put Jerry Krause. Yeah, we put Jerry Krause. Me and my buddy put Jerry Krause as a reference. It was funny.
Thank you, sir. Always appreciate the candor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias, Meta. Get aggressive. Tell you to go slower, go faster, like controller. Yeah, like controller.
I don't like that at all.
Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that tastes delicious. Do you question?
You give us topics and events, and we question them.
Do you question if this player should be benched?
All right, this happened at a practice for the Akron Zips football team, the University of Akron. They play in a stadium called the Rubber Bowl. Anyway, this is a player and an assistant. Oh!
What just happened there? Did you just kick him?
I tell you this, whatever happened, the coach wasn't in on the joke.
Was that a dunk? Is that what that was? A dunk? Let's see that again.
Oh, yeah, one of those. Oh, and he stood over him?
Oh, well, he landed with his junk on his neck.
Yeah, let me tell you something. That coach was going over there. I don't know if he was going to bench him. A little bit more like he was going over there to drop him.
That was a big basket, and I think that he missed the dunk.
Did he miss the dunk? Let's see the junk dunk again. Well,
Yeah, he did miss the dunk. And that's not a very tall man.
okay, but he missed the dunk, but I think he accomplished what he wanted to, which is knocking that guy over by putting his junk on his neck.
Do you question if the UNC bullpen is cool?
Chapel Hill, baseball, the bullpen. What's going on in the bullpen? Let's see.
Now what this game means to you guys as a team. How important is this series overall for North Carolina?
Yeah, there's a lot of boredom in the bullpen.
You know, it's huge.
Baseball is the only sport where you're allowed to show how seriously you're not taking things, like in the middle of the game.
The AC tournament, and then you get the NCAA
Does that guy have
coming up.
takeout?
So, you know, I think if we get on a good foot here, you know.
I got a sneaky suspicion that young man with the napkin around his neck eating the watermelon isn't on scholarship.
But what do you call when all your teammates are just bombing on you behind you?
Nobody on campus believes those kids are on any athletic team. Like, just so you know, they walk around with a Letterman's jacket and with their own baseball cards, and nobody believes those dudes play on a team.
Wait, roll that again. Was that guy trying to call me?
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Let's see.
Hello, bullpen. Hello.
Yeah, I got your call. What's up? Yeah, you look great, buddy. Yeah, 180 banana. That's the number. You got it right. Yeah. Yeah, we got your national TV. You're on your way now to the big leagues. Yeah, take care.
He's on the way to a lot of things, not the big leagues. Maybe some big league chew.
Time to play the game that has beautiful hair. See? Or no?
You tell us what to watch on television. We tell you if we're intrigued or not.
There's lots of beautiful hair on my legs.
On ESPN, the NBA Draft Lottery.
Mention this for at least a few minutes. We've got ping pong balls tonight. That means we'll give you something vaguely ping pong ball related here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there it is.
Oh, not the break front.
That right there is the Sixers, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. There, everything Sixers. Bomani, are you intrigued?
I am intrigued and in advance. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers on winning the draft lottery. Now, look, I don't think there's a conspiracy, but you do. And if the Lakers win, oh, it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Is she going to be there? Because if she is, I'm going to watch.
Oh, look at
That's
that.
right. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't know if she's out of physical therapy yet.
She means business.
She does. Okay.
On NBC, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, Fallon does some interesting stuff with the famous. Here he has Bryce Harper in, and they're playing a game called Catchphrase. You give clues, and the point is to try and get exactly the right phrase through your clues. Listen to this.
Snag it. Beyonce's last record is called?
Lemonade.
Boom.
Oh my gosh, can I pass it in? Snapping.
What they use for concerts.
Tickets.
No,
Tickets.
singer.
What microphone.
But then he throws it on the ground.
Oof, drop the mic.
Boom.
Hey, is that it?
No.
Campfire. What you eat at a campfire?
Marshmallows.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Oh man.
Just go for it, man. We gotta win.
Can I pass?
Take a lap.
Is that a pass?
No, do it.
I don't even know. I don't know. That's terrible. I have no idea.
I have no idea. You have no clue.
No clue how to even say
Koss, is it an action?
No, it's an animal.
It's an animal. It's a dog or it's a
dam. They build
Rottweiler.
dams.
It's what? A beaver.
Boom.
What the? Yes!
What the hell just happened? Bomani, are you intrigued?
Bryce Harper went on neighborhood play on the whole game. All I'm saying is, I'm just glad he said a beaver was an animal.
Poppy, are you intrigued?
See, I'm very cheap because this is me playing that kind of a game. I'll never be able to give any good clue, you know.
We can play this now.
That's right.
We can play this now with my father, and it can be really bad, really frustrating.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
2 radio shows for you. 10 to 1 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, 4 to 7 Eastern over there on ESPN Radio.
Gracias. See you mañana.
It's a word that means yes.
See.
Oh, look at that. He's so proud of himself.
I got it. I'm the best. I'm very intrigued.